Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back, baby, to another video. Last Word Music Podcast. We got a big one today. We got our two-parter. We got our top album from every year of the decade, 2010 to 2020. We got to split it in half. More content for y'all, We're gonna have, we're gonna agree on some, we're gonna disagree on others. It might get a little heated, I don't know. So we'll just see where it goes. I know for a fact Charlie's gonna have at least one Eminem album on here. We're all gonna disagree with blatantly. So we'll see.
Does Charlie have an Eminem on here?
Well, we'll get right into it with 2010.
We'll
get right into it.
To make the odds more in Eminem's favor, it's only hip hop albums.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
Only,
I would
yeah, it
still
is
hope.
Hip-hop
I would still hope not to see any Eminem on this list.
I would hope so as well, but you never know with Chuck. So we'll get started with 2010, which is probably going to be one of the only unanimous options here.
Yeah, it's my twisted, unnatural,
dark,
horrible,
mysterious,
absolutely
dream.
Horrendous.
Yeah.
Nick DeRay, shout out.
But no,
it's my beautiful dark twisted fantasy.
My beautiful dark twisted fantasy.
Kanye West, baby.
Yeah.
Kanye West.
I mean,
the president of the United States.
Vote Kanye.
He dropped out, man. I thought he dropped out.
My man's needs some
tweeted
help,
recently that Kylie Jenner stinks.
Dude, they need to get phones away from him, bro. He needs some help, man. But I mean,
he does,
he's
very
disrespect, bro.
We could, I'm sure Scotty especially could talk about this album for like 40 minutes straight anyway.
Yeah, I like this album too.
Yeah, but Scotty simps, and I mean, do we have to talk about this album a lot?
We've talked. I mean, it's a unanimous selection, right? It's universally regarded as one of the great hip hop albums.
Yeah, we got
many
Kanye videos. We got the discography debate between Eminem and Scott, Kanye. Go check those videos out. If you want to hear us.
We won't talk too much about this album. We'll move on to 2011, which I think is probably one of them. We might not be.
Deem, I think you and I are going to be unanimous.
I think we are too, but I'll see. So for me, I went with "Take Care" by Drake.
I did as well.
That's where you guys go. So, I like Drake. I respect Drake.
No, you don't.
I don't. I wouldn't say I like Drake. I would say I respect Drake. I've never really gotten too into his music. I don't necessarily love his voice, but I respect the amount of records he sells, and especially in his early music, he has somewhat of a message to preach. But personally, I tend to vibe a lot more with the great Kendrick Lamar. So I went with Section 80, his debut studio album for Top Dog Entertainment, unless you're counting Overly Dedicated, which I don't really count. This was really a phenomenal breakthrough for the young Kenny from Compton. And the album covers a variety of topics. It's very real, very powerful, just spoken from the heart. And it's got bangers like ADHD, which you guys have probably heard, but a bunch of more, Rigor Mortis, but a bunch more unknown tracks like Keisha's Song, High Power, Hold Up, tons of songs on there that are really just a great listen. He doesn't have quite the consistent level of lyrical flow and prowess that he displays in the later works, but you can definitely see the raw ability that he harnesses later on. So that's my favorite album, 2011.
That's where I differ on the on the whole debate that we might have between those two albums. Is I feel like "Take Care" is definitely Drake's, like, I don't want to say like peak, but it's kind of his peak. Like that's generally regarded as probably his best album. If you're reading this, it's too late. It's probably second for most people.
Go watch my Drake discography.
And then Nothing Was the Same. Go check out the vid by Charlie.
I talk about "Take Care." I talk about every single Drake album. So you know my feelings about "Take Care." I absolutely love it.
I think "Take Care" has a good mix of bangers and slow songs. "Over My Dead Body" being one of the highlights for me. And of course Marvin's Room, which is overplayed to death. But I mean those two. I feel like "Take Care" would have been the option for most people. Scott's just weird and nobody likes him, so we're just getting
fair enough, bro. Fair enough.
I've never actually listened to Section 80. I'm sure it's great, but
I would highly recommend it.
I never got around to it.
Nature, man. I mean, you want to keep talking about K-Dot though? We got 2012 coming up.
Yeah, we got 2012.
I think this is going to be another unanimous. Good Kid, Mad City, baby.
Good Kid, Mad City.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
there's not
we
really
talked
much
about
to
this album
say.
a few times too.
Yeah, this album is incredible. Anyone who
Super
hasn't listened to
powerful.
it, go listen to it.
Cinematic experience, honestly.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it really tells a story.
Absolutely.
Art of Peer Pressure, Poetic Justice, Money Trees, Swimming Pools, all incredible songs, iconic.
Absolutely.
Gonna go down in history.
Swimming
Not to
Pool is
mention
probably
Mad
one of the
City,
best storytelling songs ever, man.
and
Sing
probably
about dying of thirst.
the best, in my opinion, Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst. One of the greatest songs ever made. So I don't think we have to.
No, I mean we've talked about that one a lot as well. So
Yeah,
all right, 2013. This is where I'm gonna see a little bit of some discrepancies in there.
Yeah,
this is where some
I'm curious.
Take place.
I'm curious. Let's see what do you guys
2013 not like the hottest year for hip hop. So
yeah, it wasn't super hot, but I mean I want to see what you guys have first before I tell you mine, because I'm not sure if I'm gonna.
I went with Nothing Was the Same by Drake.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
I'm expecting some Drake from Chuck.
Oh, okay. What did you go with, Scotty?
Yeah, so I don't think you guys have listened to this album at all, but Doris from Earl Sweatshirt.
No,
I thought that was the best rap album of 2013.
Earl the Hooded Sweater. Or whatever his
Earl
name
the
is.
Hooded Sweater. Yeah. So this was Earl's first studio album, coming back from his whole stint in, I think, like a Samoan, boys educational system that his mother sent it to after he first broke out with Odd Future, released his opening mixtape. Yeah. And then his mom was like, yeah, this is not the path you're going down. I'm sending you to like boys educational school in like Samoa. So he was isolated from the world for like 2 years, and then he came back and dropped this album. And it was really just a fascinating, picture of his mind. It had a bunch of good features. Vince Staples, Tyler the Creator, Frank Ocean. Before some of these guys were really good. Mac Miller was on the album.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace, Mac Miller. I think also his lyricism just really shines here. And it's probably his easiest listen because as the years have gone on, his music has become a lot more depressive and abstract. Like some rap songs, it's like 18 minutes long. Use like crazy samples. It's not for everybody. Doris is his easiest listen probably. So that's why I think it's his best one here.
Yeah.
Okay. Dimitri, what was yours? I'm curious.
I went with Long Live ASAP.
I like Long Live ASAP. That was a good album.
I really like that album.
Okay.
It was kind of the first album that I listened to from Rocky, and it kind of got me into his other albums, like At Long Last ASAP and Testing, which I think super underrated, but I won't get on that right now. But I think Long Live ASAP is a really cohesive body of work. It kind of shows Rocky with some of his best flows, some of his best instrumentals in general. One Train being one of my favorite rap songs. So many great features on that. Joey Badass, Kendrick, not to name more. Action Bronson did pretty solid on that track too.
Bronson, baby.
Wasn't expecting it, but he did. You've got other iconic songs, Fashion Killer, Fucking Problems. I love Goldie. I love Hell. I think they're all great songs. I just think it's one of Rocky's more cohesive bodies of work, and
I think
it's really iconic.
I think At Long Last ASAP the one from 2015.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I like that one a little bit more, but Long Live ASAP was good too, for sure.
At Long Last ASAP, I don't think it holds up to a couple other albums in the 2015.
From 2015, yeah. Just got a tough year, but
yeah. But Chuck, why did you go with Nothing Was the Same? I'm curious.
Well, so from my perspective, it was more based on. I mean, I talked about Nothing Was the Same. It was my number 3 in my Drake discography ranked. Yeah. And from my perspective, the subject matter is kind of why I put it up there, because it was more of him trying to like deal with his fame, because Take Care is kind of like he blew up. Everybody knew his name. He was mainstream, and Nothing Was the Same was kind of like the album to solidify himself. It was his kind of like the album that he needed to succeed. And I thought the subject matter that he chose was excellent for this, which was how he's dealing with the fame, how he's dealing with everything that's going on around him, his situations, all the fake people in his life. I think that subject matter was excellent for him to touch on. You obviously have his bangers like All Me, freaking, what's it called? Started from the bottom, now we're here. You probably have objectively a top 3 Drake song in Hold On, We're Going Home.
Song is great. I love that song.
It's got some of his best flows. It's got some of his best production on that one. I just overall really, really enjoy listening to this album. And I think it was, you said earlier, Take Care was kind of his peak. I think at this peak, he plateaued a little bit with Nothing Was the Same and then kind of went back down a little bit in later years after another album that we'll touch on a little bit later.
There's no way. But, okay. I was not expecting that, but we can move on to what? We're at 2014 here?
Mm-hmm.
I already know Scotty's going to be wrong on this, but I think me and Chuck can agree that it is clearly
it's
2014 Forest Hills Drive. In my opinion, one of the best rap albums ever made.
World.
Scotty's tweaking.
Bro, you can't tell me what.
You can call me a Cole simp. I don't care. That album is great.
Tale of Two Cities.
You got so many great, Fire Squad, Tale of Two Cities, GOMD, Saint Tropez, January 28th. All incredible songs. I think it's really cohesive. And you've got other songs that don't necessarily align with kind of the themes of the album or anything, but are great, slice of life songs that anyone can relate to, like Wet Dreams. I know everyone has bumped that song.
Everybody.
No Role Models, one of the most iconic.
Everybody is bumped No Role
rap
Models.
songs. Yeah. I think it is Cole's best body of work. It's not even close. And I hope his new album can
he dropped the first 2 songs.
I haven't listened yet.
I'm yet to listen to it as well.
But we'll see. As for Scotty, I can't really remember what incorrect album he picked, but we'll see. What did you go for, Scotty?
We'll see what it was.
So I fondly remember about 10 minutes ago, before we recorded the video, you were actually hyping up this album to Chuck. It's called Pinata by Freddie Gibbs and Madlib, which blows 2014 Forest Hills Drive out of the water. You and Chuck severely overrate 2014 Forest Hills Drive.
No.
Look, I love that album. I thought, like you mentioned, all the points you made were strong. But to me, it's like an 8.5 out of 10. It's not like an all-time great.
Just before we continue, I take back whatever I said. Pinata is I tied it with this album, but I went with this because I've listened to it. I've listened to it more. I've listened to 2014.
I'm yet to get on Freddie Gibbs.
So. 2014 Forest Hills Drive is phenomenal, but I find at times it gets a little dry with the kind of repetitive production. Whereas on Pinata, you get the best of 2 worlds with Freddie Gibbs, fluid, old school throwback hip hop rhymes, and you get this incredible, just variant, diverse production from Madlib, one of the best in the game. You got incredible songs like Thuggin', probably one of Freddie's best songs. You got Scarface, you got Lakers, you got there's just a ton of tracks on there, tons of features. You got Mac Miller, you got a Sweatshirt, you got Damo Genesis has a nice verse, you got Danny Brown. To me, this album was the best album of 2014. I can understand the argument for J. Cole and 2014 Forest Hills Drive. Like you guys said, I think that's his best piece of work. But to me, I think, the combination of Freddie Gibbs' talents with the production from Madlib ultimately lifts it over the top.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually I feel sick that I was talking trash and then he said
thank you, dude. I know. Well, because when we were
I forgot the year that album came out. Bro. I thought it was 2015.
All right, man. 2015. Here it is.
2015. Okay.
One of my absolute favorite albums.
Chuck is gonna say something sus, bro.
Shremmin' Life by Ray Shremmin. No flex. No flex. No, I'm playing. On the real though, if you're reading this is too late. Absolutely goated, bro. Absolutely goated.
Hey, see you later, fellas. I'm out.
Oh my god, dude.
What do y'all have then?
Oh my god, dude.
What do I have?
Dude,
what do I have?
A butterfly.
Yep, I knew it, bro.
I'm gonna be real. Scotty is more of a simp for this album than I am. I haven't listened to it enough. I've listened to it probably 4 or 5 times. Scotty, I gotta say, Scotty, how many times have you listened to this album? Like 90, probably.
At least 90.
At least 90. Yeah, I just haven't listened to the album enough. But the album I've listened to more.
I've listened to it like once, man.
Rodeo.
Yeah, Rodeo's better than If You're Reading This, It's Too Late.
Rodeo is
I
probably
actually
the greatest
disagree.
trap album ever made,
I
in my
disagree.
opinion. I think it pushed the genre into this really dark, ambient, spacey vibe.
I did enjoy Rodeo. Rodeo did innovate, man.
Yeah, and you can
Absolutely
see a
innovative.
whole bunch of artists, fighting that sound.
Mhm.
I could go down the entire album song list and just name banger after banger. Obviously Antidote, 90210, Maria I'm Drunk, Impossible.
3,500.
It's like
No, I'm
sorry.
100.
It's
100% hear you, man. I 100%.
Chuck,
it's just
Chuck.
it's better than If You're Reading This, It's Too Late. But
I disagree, man.
I respect
Chuck,
your
I will
take.
say this,
You're
man.
wrong.
I didn't.
I will say this. In my opinion, Chuck, If You're Reading This, It's Too Late is Drake's best project.
Yeah, you could.
I thoroughly enjoyed that, and I'm not even that big of a fan of Drake.
Mine
And
as
that
well.
just goes to show how truly breathtaking To Pimp a Butterfly was. You're talking about it blows If You're Reading This, It's
I
Too Late out of the
listened
water.
to it once.
Chuck, listen
You
to me.
listened
And
to
I
it
mean no
once?
disrespect here.
Yes.
It is
my God.
leagues above. You're talking about one of the greatest hip hop albums of all time, amongst the ranks of the infamous, of Illmatic, of Enter the Wu-Tang, and
Of Marshall Mathers LP.
Yes, actually, yes.
Yeah.
And If You're Reading This, It's Too Late does not even come close to the emotional depth, the raw perspective that Kendrick provides on this cinematic experience that he gives you. You talk about Wesley's Theory. From the minute the jazz track opens up, it envelops you in this sonic landscape. The poem that he wrote, that he reveals each more as the song goes on. It's powerful. And you get to the last track, and it turns out he's been having a conversation with Tupac the whole time. The 12-minute tour de force that is Mortal Man, where he interviews the legendary Tupac. You're not even. I haven't even covered songs like You, the emotional masterpiece, where it turns out that he's talking about himself. It's an introspective masterpiece. I'm talking about Black or the Berry. I'm talking about Mama. I'm talking about Institutionalized with features from the great Snoop Dogg, man. Yeah. This album is top notch. I'm talking about For Free, all right?
Chuck, where he brings up these feelings, man.
Bro.
Centuries of historical oppression and perspective on the life of African Americans in the United States.
Hold on,
You're talking about For Sale, where he talks about his inner battles with his religious demons, man. This album is top notch.
Hold on. Okay, Chuck, I think you would have been fine if you hadn't have said what else came out in 2015. Because that kind of drove a dagger in both of our hearts.
That's fair. It's just because I don't know that album well enough.
Chuck, you're good. And listen, I thoroughly enjoyed If You're Reading This, It's Too Late. I thought it was Drake's best project.
Yes.
So I hold you no grudge there. And I can understand that it's a personal favorite list and not an objective list.
A close second.
When you came out with that smile on your face, and you're like, what else came out in 2015, bro? It was devastating, man.
It's because I don't know that album well enough, man.
You're good.
All right.
Chuck. You're good.
That was
I listened
quite
to
the
a grand total of one time.
That was quite the
I did enjoy it.
Finale,
I just don't know it enough, bro.
To the first part, I knew it was gonna be a little divisive. I was not expecting If You're Reading This, It's Too Late. I won't lie to you, but let us know.
You want to hear my feelings about it because I didn't get to talk about it.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, Chuck, go for it.
Just go look at the Drake, dude. Just go look at the Drake discography vid. All I gotta say is this is definitely like the peak, at least in my eyes right now. I talked about how Take Care and If You're Reading This Too Late kind of flip flops back and forth based on how I'm feeling. Right now, If You're Reading This Too Late is at the top. It's definitely his peak, and that's when I was gonna segue with that. With Nothing Was the Same, the next album he dropped kind of hit the end of the plateau. Yeah. And then it starts to go down in 2016.
And then he resurges with the Views.
Yeah, and then the Views comes out.
No,
I'm playing. But
resurged with Scorpion.
Well, we're gonna end off part 1 right here. Let us know what your favorite albums were from each year in the comments below. Like if you think that Chuck is tweaking on his 2015 pick. Like if you think I'm tweaking for my 2013 pick. Let us know how you feel about To Pimp a Butterfly. Tell us it all in the comments, man.
Kendrick stands about to roast me. Kendrick Stan's about to come
Drake,
from.
I wish they would roast you. We don't have enough subscribers for you to get clowned on, bro.
Okay. All right, guys. Until next time, this has been
Take
The
care.
Last Word.
If you're reading this, it's too late.
No.